biggest night in the world of bodybuilding.
Athletes and fans of bodybuilding, Tarek El-Guindy with the Mr. Olympia. Today we have the New York Pro Champion. He put on a show in Pittsburgh. He has placed third at the Mr. Olympia. He has won the Arnold Classic. He's considered to be the most popular bodybuilder in the world. He is Nick Walker, the Mutant. Good evening, Nick.
Good evening. Thank you for having me on.
Thank you for joining us. Also with us, he's the 1993 Mr. USA's four-time Ironman champion, one of the greatest bodybuilders of all times. He's one of the hosts of Primetime Muscle, Chris Cormier.
What's up, guys? How you doing? What's happening, Nick?
What up?
Yeah.
Also with us, Milos Sarcev, considered by Linda Murray, myself, and Tim Wilkins the greatest classic physique of all times, surpassing Chris Bumstead, Thierry Pastel, and Lee Labrada. He's competed over 70 times. He's trained some of the best competitors in the world. Good evening, Milos.
Good evening, sir. Please refer to me as a classic king from now on.
I'm sorry, the classic Milos Sarcev.
I want to hear it from you, Chris.
And Night of Champions winner.
I did.
No, Canadian. That was a Canadian show.
Yeah. I never won Night of the Champions.
Sorry. I won that show.
Because of you.
I won that show. Sorry.
If you didn't shut up.
So, Nick, we invited Bob Cicherillo and Sean Ray to this live, but unfortunately they were scared and they said they wanted to visit a restaurant, Walker's Diner. Is that correct?
Yeah. I think they were afraid to get served with that humble pie. You know what I mean?
Very nice. Yeah. So, guys, if you're wondering where Bob Cicherillo and Sean Ray are, they're both Walker's Diners, and they're being served a humble pie because both of them predicted that Nick Walker would have not even win the New York Pro. It turned out he won the New York Pro, and he's going to the Mr. Olympia. Chris,
yes.
You and I, last year at the New York Pro, we said Nick Walker won the show.
Right.
And I got to give credit to you because you always said Nick Walker is a machine. He's one of the best in the world, and I believe in him all the way. Why do you think some of these experts don't give Nick Walker the credit that's due?
I think they were caught up and hung up on maybe photos they may see online, maybe people pushing out the narrative that, you know, he don't have the physique, you know, he has the big waist, he won't never be able to be Mr. Olympia because of this. But if you look and open your eyes, you can see that he's improved his physique. He's met some of those shortcomings and improved those areas, improved the posing, improved the training, improved everything, working on his craft year round, to come out with a physique that, I mean, you can't no longer say these type of things because they it's not no longer a factor like this. But
Yeah.
I have a good understanding about physiques and how it works and how it works in the gym and what's possible. And that's why I said I can't count this guy out because of those simple facts that if you put all those things in account, it's not going to matter at the end of the day when you start hitting those shots and bringing the crowd into the fray. It's not going to matter.
Yeah, Milos. A lot of people, a lot of experts, they're huge fans of Nick Walker. Chris Cormier has always said, Tarek, when he hits the poses, he beats most guys, including some of the top guys. But there are people that don't give him the credit that he is due. What do they see that is not appealing about a guy that probably has the best side chest in the business, the best, most muscular in the business?
How about back double biceps?
Don't forget back double now. Thank
Yeah,
you.
back double biceps. Listen, Nick told me about 3 years ago that he's going to beat Derek in back double biceps. This is, I remember this very well. You remember, Nick?
I sure do.
Yeah. Okay, so let me put it this way. I was not a Nick Walker believer until he stepped on stage at that Arnold Classic, and he dominated to the point that was like, that's not even the same league. I mean, this is how great he was. Ever since then, third at Olympia, narrowly lost to Samson. He won that show? Yes. These purists that Sean Ray and Bob are, they would look for the physiques like Chris Cormier, Kevin Levrone, Flex Wheeler, and so on, and that's their standard. But let's keep in mind, Dorian Yates kicked their ass throughout the 90s all the time without having super aesthetic physique. It's still bodybuilding contest. It's still, muscle building. And when you see Nick in person, it's not the same on TV and Streamline and pictures and Instagram. I promise you, because I've seen him, so many times, that overwhelming size and density and the way he carries himself around, it's shocking. I told, as you know, Bob, oh yeah, Nick can very well win the Olympia this year.
Yeah, I got to tell you, the moment that I said, and I remember Nick Walker was backstage. It was the Olympia that he took third. I'm backstage and I'm looking at the guys, right? I'm looking at Derek. It was Derek's first Olympia. I'm looking at Hadi. I had seen Big Ramy win the Olympia. And I passed by Nick Walker. He's wearing red trunks. And I looked at his abs. I looked at his chest and shoulders. And I said, dude, this guy can be Mr. Olympia. Remember, Nick? And I passed by you and I said, dude, you can be Mr. Olympia. And Nick's response was, I appreciate that. I appreciate that. I am a firm believer that he has the best side chest in the business. I think he beats every single guy. I think he beats Derek, Hadi, Samson, and everybody else in the world on side chest. I also think his most muscular is bar none the best. The only people who would get close to him in conditioning would be Hadi, but Nick Walker is a lot bigger, right? I think he has the best. And I think the back double biceps of Derek Lunsford has now been, matched by Nick Walker. What I don't understand is how can people ignore the fact that you have a bodybuilder just like, Dorian Yates. He had the best back lat spread, the best back double biceps, but he didn't have the best side triceps, right?
Nope.
So I don't understand why people can't see the obvious. Nick, do you have an explanation?
Not really. I think they hated their own careers and they didn't do that well, so they gotta hate on mine, to be honest. But I really don't know. History speaks for itself.
Well, I do have a question for Nick because 2 days ago, Dennis said that you went on your Instagram and you said for the first time that you're not going to win Olympia, but you're going to sure be top 3. And I remember that first moment I talked to you at the Dragon's Lair And when
Yeah.
you told me before going to 2023 Olympia, you're going to beat Rami. And everything you said, the way you said it, your demeanor, with every breath you took, I believed it. And you beat Big Rami at that time. And really, if Derek wasn't that shock factor of, bringing that first front relax frontal biceps that nobody expected, it was really a show between you and Hadi.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Ken, how come you are now going into the top 3 guarantee not to win?
I think I'm always coming to win. I'm changing my ways. I'm just not going to say it publicly out loud. And I think with the past couple of years I just rather lay low and speak highly of myself without speaking too highly of myself. I know I know I can win the Olympia. I know that. I think everybody else has now known that. I don't need to just say it anymore. So I'd rather just put my head down and work and come back even better for the Olympia and shut everyone up once again.
Humble pie 2 for 1 sale.
yeah,
Yeah.
no, Nick. So I wanna go through your stage of mind, right? Because
Yeah.
I think it's very inspiring. You missed the Olympia, and it wasn't because of an injury. You said your body was not responding. The internet goes crazy on you. They start saying Nick the Talker, he'll never compete again. Every YouTuber in the world goes against you. And a lot of people say Nick Walker will never come back. It looked like throughout this whole time, you never really responded or lost your composure, despite the fact the whole world was against you. Tell us a little bit about this moment until you stepped on stage at Pittsburgh, where you pretty much shut up everybody.
I mean, yeah, I mean, it was definitely devastating. I'll be honest. Behind the closed doors, I definitely had moments, of tears and sadness for sure. But I knew I had to make some changes. I had to do what I had to do, what was best for me, and obviously, I know what I'm capable of. I never lost the confidence in myself. And I just decided going into the prep and going to the show, I'm not going to talk. I'm not going to say anything. I'm going to go back to my old ways where I would just post pictures, post videos, and let that do the talking and just show up on stage better than I ever have. And that's one thing I said to Kyle, when we teamed up. I said, look, I can't go on stage and people just go, oh, yeah, Nick's back. He looks great. I said, nah, I need to come back where people go, oh, fuck. Like, what is that? And we did that. And I just kept my head down, put my head down, went to work, and we succeeded and then some than what we wanted to.
Chris?
What watching you come on stage at the Pittsburgh, your first 2 or 3 steps on stage, I knew something was different. I was just like, that's when I felt I felt you were winning, because you was the only one on that stage that gave me chills. Like when you start walking out, like I got chills on my arms. I'm like, holy shit! Like, look at this shit. And like that was just walking. And then when you hit the front relax, I was like, oh man, this is a different game now. Now this is gonna be a fucking match. This is what we want to see. Can you tell me something about, your presentations changed? I never seen you hit a front relax in that manner with that confidence. I think you felt great, and from what I could see, and it looks like you put in an awful lot of work on not only training but presentation.
Yeah, like I said, I wanted to come back and just be totally different. So that meant physique, that meant posing, that meant confidence, that meant everything, the way I presented myself on stage. And honestly, it was Saturday morning, when I woke up, I just looked at myself and I was just like, this is it. Like, no one's going to beat me today. And that's when really I just got overfilled with confidence, like I would used to be in my old self. and I just walked out on stage and just dominated the whole thing.
Now, Nick, I have a question for you. When you hit your back double biceps here,
Yeah.
you have an angle to your legs, right? You're not straight up on your legs. The right leg, you can see your right foot is up, your left foot is down. There's an angle here. And that angle makes your waist look smaller from the back, right?
Yeah.
Why have you not done that on the front pose?
I don't know. Maybe I should work on that and try.
Milos, what do you think?
Yeah, not a bad advice. I didn't think about it. Let me put it this way. I give Nick all the credits for this front relaxed pose. He shocked me. Okay. I was going to Jay Cutler podcast, right? And seeing that high definition video for the first time, here comes Nick. And I was saying before, in a symmetry round, he would lose. And boom, it's like, oh, he's winning this shot. I mean, so much muscle, thickness, deep abs, and he balanced out his lower body to upper body. Up until this year, I did think that frontal biceps is overpowering limbs on the top to the limbs on the bottom part, but now he improved. I didn't think of what you just said, angling a little bit, like how classic physique guys make the waist smaller.
Yeah.
I still think there is posing things that he can do. Maybe Chris can suggest something. How he can make even front double biceps better. Because upper body, nobody can touch him in the front double biceps, right? And then before he could lose because of a lower body. Now balance is better. I would give him over Derek, even front double biceps. So before the show, I saw for sure Derek is winning front double biceps. He didn't.
Well,
I think there's a few things he could do different. Front double, side tricep. Those couple of things like that I saw. I think there's a few poses I think can be improved, and I'm sure he's going to be willing to work for it and outwork everybody. I think what makes him confident is how hard you work. If you feel like no one else can outwork me, that's what's going to give me the win come Olympia time. That's what I think for him.
Oh, yeah, that was the thing. Even with Kyle, we went real old school, man. Like 90s type shit. We went like very, very low, almost not, I wouldn't say zero carb, but very, very lower carb than I've ever done. Hour and a half, hour and 40 minutes of cardio and just balls out hard training, and it developed a great physique.
Look at this front.
I just want to go back to this one here. And I think the reason, I agree with you, Milos, the reason he's more balanced is because in the past, we said the upper body overpowers the lower half, but I think he grew his legs. Yeah. His quads are bigger. Now the legs match the upper body. In addition to that, the improved size on the legs make the waist look smaller. I'm looking at this. I'm looking at this picture, and I've judged shows since 2006, and I judged the Mr. Olympia. I can't say this is not a pretty physique. I mean, he's got the lines of a nice physique. I don't see it when people criticize and they go, maybe when Nick relaxes, maybe the midsection is not there. But then again, it's every bodybuilder in the world. I tell every bodybuilder, when you relax and your midsection comes out, it doesn't look good. But on this shot right here, you can't say his midsection is not in. He doesn't have, a Brian Buchanan's waist. But then again, who has? But I think this is a very good bodybuilder. I like this shot. Chris?
This is the best front relaxed shot in the business right now today. This is the style that I would use when I would compete. Everything's locked in. Waist is tight, abs are tight. The pecs and everything is have enough tension in it, just enough. Shoulders are capped and relaxed on top of the lats. All this stuff makes a great front relax. And right there, we used to get points for even when you're on the side, be like a statue. Be like, don't be those guys relaxed, drinking some water, shooting the shit, or, chilling or totally relaxed until they get their turn. We gain points by being like a statue, even on the side, the side of when you're not even being compared, because judges can see that. Not only that, that's going to keep your body warm and tight, and also going to keep you getting chiseled as the show goes on. And I like that.
Now here I have a little bit of a suggestion. Right here, he's opening his clavicles, right? And he looks massive on top. You see the clavicles are massive, the legs are massive. And then there's going to be a moment where he's just going to bring it in a little bit. Look, he brings his chest down. I would suggest, Milos, Nick, what do you guys think, Chris?
Yeah.
That this bringing it down makes his clavicles smaller, right? This here with an adjustment on the legs, creating an angle with the legs, can be a very aesthetically pleasing shot.
Yeah.
But he's not doing the angles on the lower half, and now he's got huge legs. But when he brings it down, look, the clavicles go in.
Well, it also brings the lats a little bit. It lengthens the lats a little bit, even if it's like an inch or two on either side, and then you'll get the more of a hourglass physique. And for Nick to improve that area like that is remarkable. And you can see, I even gave him the ab and thigh shot, which previously I may not have thought that was going to happen, but he won an ab and thigh shot in my eyes.
Yeah, for sure. Okay. For a long time, there was that debate: should Nick do the front double like with the vacuum or with the abs? Front double biceps. Yeah, I was always doing with the abs. I didn't lose any width in the lats, and I think 6 little muscles in the center of the body.
Keeps the body more busy.
Yeah, I mean every detail counts. And this is not a power pose; it's a static pose, right? But then you show more muscle by squeezing it. So I was always for Nick squeezing the abs. I liked it. But here it is. Front double biceps is your opening. There are two things that normally people think of the arms and they squeeze the biceps. But if you go like 10 times, and the only thing that you want is pop your lats out, pop them out, and start feeling that, oh, they are all the way out. And then you squeeze the arms. Nick doesn't even need to squeeze the arms. Look at this monster biceps. It's like crazy. That's the best arms in business, right?
Yeah.
And he improved.
Yeah, man. Look at those arms, bro.
Yeah.
There's no one else.
I had arms like that, bro.
No one else. No one else.
Your wife would not be alcoholic, yeah?
But if I have arms like that, my wife wouldn't be watching Love Island every night.
So if you come with some of the best arms in the business, there's only one like Krizo can challenge these arms. But those top guys that he'll be dealing with, they don't have arms like this. So,
Krizo needs to practice his posing a lot more. He's losing placing because of his posing. Okay. Right here with Nick is a few minor adjustments. In my opinion, I love when the clavicle bones are open. The arms are ridiculous. If he just creates an angle with the legs like he does on the back double biceps, I think his waist is going to look small. Now, just look at his waist. Is that a big waist? Is that a big waist? That's not a big waist. I don't know what, that's not a big waist.
Like I said, you can't keep going on that narrative because, if you did something about it and you understand how to utilize your physique, then that's not an issue anymore.
That's why Nick Walker
look at something else.
Because when he starts posing and you see the physique, you go, this guy's physique is better than most people.
Okay, one thing I'm gonna throw that in. Nick, did you ever try to do the front double like Samson does with one leg out?
No, we never tried that.
I know, because it's just like you don't want to even try it.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty much sure you're going to surprise yourself how good you're going to look. Now, you say you're old-fashioned, old school, so you hit the same pose, same way forever. I was at the photo shoot and this photographer was telling me to change something, and I was so mad at him. But then I did what he wanted, and then I see the Polaroid. I said, I'll be damned. I don't feel comfortable. I don't know what I'm doing. But then I look, oh shit, that looked better than my normal pose.
Yeah.
Maybe you should hit the front double biceps 10 different ways, tape yourself, and then catch, oh, this is the moment.
Yeah. I agree.
Yeah, for sure.
Would you
And
be
you just got,
willing?
yeah,
Would you
and you
be
just got to
willing-
pick. Go ahead.
Would you be willing to try it, Nick? Is that something in your mind, or
I'll try anything, if it's gonna help me win the Olympia.
Yeah, I think you just got to figure out which leg will look the best,
Yeah.
and because you got to just look at every little thing, every little aspect. The way the insertions are on one leg is going to be different from the other one. So just pick out the best one suited and just try that. Because I think, if the judges want to see a little bit different or something more out of this front double from you, I would just give them that. And the trunks and everything seem like it's in a good length or height, I would say, and it just balances out the body. I thought the balance of your physique is why I was giving you a lot more shots, because the top and the bottom balanced out so much better.
yeah?
Interesting that, okay, Tarek, you're the judge, and you said something in the beginning that Nick brought the level of aesthetics we didn't expect on the Mass Monster. And that's exactly what he presented with the front double, with the front relax. It's, Nick, you are there. You're now becoming, okay, mix of both with your midsection control. I agree with Chris. Your side triceps was not convincing, okay? And I know kind of what you were doing, but I don't know if you watched our analysis. I think that upstairs you didn't look as powerful and thick by hiding that left shoulder.
Yeah.
And then you kept your stomach flat, but you didn't bring that thick. Nick Walker is a goddamn monster. Now, side chest, side triceps, those two poses are not monster poses. It could be aesthetically or muscularly. You try to do a little bit more aesthetic, but I think doing it more muscular with more at the top would make you dominate.
I agree.
Hey, can you find a side tricep?
Yeah, it's coming next right here.
Okay.
Oh,
No, it's not.
No, I skipped that one.
Look at the legs, man.
Skip that one.
Look at the legs.
I think the legs were bigger. Look at this most muscular. Chris, you had that most muscular, you would have won the Arnold. Look at that most muscular, dude. I mean,
That's crazy.
It's like a Kevin Levrone, like, right? Look at the shoulders and the arm. He's gonna, if he brings that pose, unless Hadi, Derek, Sampson do something completely different. If Nick Walker is on the first call out and he hits that pose, he's gonna win that pose. And the other pose is the side chest, which I agree with Tyler, because Tyler was saying, he needs to open up his triceps, right? Just bring it. It's a matter of flexibility. But the legs here are humongous. And then you look at the clavicles and how much thickness he has on top. It's the best in the business.
Nick, do you put a weight on your right leg or no? It seems to me that you didn't put.
On the left.
It's on the left.
But if you put on the right, some fibers are gonna appear.
No, he mean pressure on the right, not push.
Yeah.
Your weight's gonna obviously be on the left foot.
Yeah, no,
but you just push down and forward with that right foot, and that's gonna get more definition in that leg.
I think so. I've seen it many times.
And I mean, it's just I think let me be very clear here, okay? Anybody who doesn't think Nick Walker can be Mr. Olympia, I think is uninformed. Is just, I think Hadi can win the Olympia. I think any bodybuilder can win the Olympia that participates at the Olympia. But Nick Walker is a real threat because he wins poses. And when he took third at the Olympia, Derek took second and Hadi took first, there were some poses there that he beat both of them.
Yeah.
So I'm not surprised that Nick Walker encounters himself in this position here. It's just that he hasn't competed at the Olympia, and people forgot how great he is.
They were just reminded.
So yeah, so some of the
I mean, look,
I think the density was what, you know, won me over with the back double, and I just feel like you know, he can still do a little bit more back there, but when that happens, you know, when he pulls back and you get a little bit more muscularity in the Christmas tree area, but once that happens, then it's gonna be lights out every time he turns around, because the other density is the back double bicep density is already there, and the leg development and balance is there also.
His hamstrings are freaky.
That's my opinion.
dude, look at the legs.
Yeah. You see, I didn't like 3 years ago, maybe Nick was doing even wider stance from the back, even wider.
Yeah, I remember.
And I didn't like it. But now, but now this is as good as it gets. I mean, I tell you the truth. I was analyzing like 3 rounds, and I was going back and forth. Some poses in some rounds, I would give it to Derek, and then Nick, and then went back and forth. You are the judge, Derek, and I'm sure you're not afraid to voice that opinion. Sometimes you guys give the same guy different placing in the same pose.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that can go back and forth, back and forth. What I understand that supposedly Derek like edged him out in the last stretch. Like Nick was winning, prejudging, and then it was so close, and then I went another round and another round, and that's how they decided.
Well, I'm going to tell you this. Nick won poses and Derek won poses. There was a significant difference between those two guys and Martin. Martin was not at his best. Nick Walker beats everybody in the business in side chest and most muscular. That's undisputable. I have not seen anybody hit a most muscular next to Nick Walker or a side chest and beat him since he competed third place and got third place, even if he didn't win. Now, front double biceps, I think Nick needed to create an angle. And that's why I'm suggesting here that Nick changes this pose, because that's a pose that Derek Lunsford benefited because of his lines. And what I'm suggesting is for Nick Walker to beat Derek Lunsford on that pose, he needs to create an angle with his legs to make his waist look smaller. But I did give this pose, the front double biceps, to Derek Lunsford. I don't like Derek Lunsford's and Nick Walker's front lat spread. Okay, neither of them, in my opinion, hit great front lat spreads. I think we don't have a lat spread. I think Hadi Choopan is the best one at hitting a front lat spread. There's something about their lat spread on both of them that I don't think they stretch it that much. Now, if you look at this right here, Milos, this is the pose that really symbolizes Pittsburgh Pro for me. Why? Because until then, nobody would ever consider Derek Lunsford losing the back double biceps. Nobody. And Derek still has striated glutes. But Nick beat him on the hamstrings, on the size of the back, and then Nick had ton of muscle in the back. So if somebody voted for Nick winning or Derek winning, I wouldn't have a problem either way. But Nick Walker has done something that most of us did not think it was possible, to beat Derek Lunsford from the back. And I think some judges did believe he beat him from the back.
Yeah. Chris and Dennis said this as soon as they came back from Pittsburgh. You know, you had to be there to see it. Like live, it was even more convincing. I think if you just look at the back, Derek has a wider. So if you just look at the torso part, not limbs, there's argument for him to win. But you look the torso and limbs, arms are not comparable. and legs were not comparable. Yeah, Derek would squeeze the glutes, but not a hamstring, and this hamstring is out of this world. Nick's legs from behind are one of the biggest legs you can possibly imagine. Nick's legs from the side was also monster legs, right? And now he's bringing that illusion of not illusion. There's much more muscle to it. The frontal biceps. When you look, Nick, if you just kick one hip in one side and elongate the other leg just a little bit, I think it's going to create more aesthetic things, and then it's going to that elongated leg is going to create the illusion of a longer legs. You know,
Yeah, I'll try it. I'll try it out.
No, Nick, it's non-negotiable. We're not suggesting. We're telling you what to do.
Okay.
We're gonna go to Las Vegas. I already talked to your mother, and she goes, Eric, fix his front double biceps. Have him put the leg to the side. Have you talked to Nick Walker's mom about bodybuilding?
Yes, I did.
Dude,
Yeah.
I was like, I'm gonna lose my job at Prime Time Muscle. Dude, she's like describing every single pose better than both of us, Chris.
I was telling her, I said, we need to get her on the show.
Listen,
do some analyze some physiques.
She knows her stuff for sure.
Nick told me that his mom Tracy, after whatever show, came to his room and said, "You look like shit."
Yeah, North Americans.
Yeah. Oh,
No, but didn't you win the show? You turned
No, the first time I did North Americans in 2017.
Yeah, so right here, front double biceps. And the same thing for Martin. I know Martin likes to create an angle, right? I would tell Martin the same thing. Now, what I want to do is going to the front lat spread, because I was talking to Jack Sullivan, another judge, and both of us, we would like to see a better front lat spread from both of them, from Nick Walker and Derek. There's something about, and maybe you guys can help me here. Take a look at this, Chris.
I think it's the hand placement can improve the pose for Nick.
But even Derek is not, it looks like he's emphasizing a little bit of the trapezius, right? I think every time you see a little bit of the trapezius on the front lat spread, you lose a little bit of the illusion of the lats.
You see, for me, I would inhale all the air there is there, expand the rib cage as much, and I would push my waist even more in with my fist. So pushing it to create as small waist as possible, inhaling and to be as V-tapered as possible. But I like that shoulders and arms that he's showing. She has to be a little bit in between. If you just expand it and touch your chin with the chest, you might lose that traps and shoulders, right? So it's somewhere in between. Nick, I'm going to tell you, even when I watch you from behind a lat spread, it seems to me that you can go you have a muscle to go another inch on each side. There's a little indent under the scapula.
Yeah.
And that should be like all the way straight.
Opened up, yeah.
So this is how I want you to think. When you're there, try to really create a pinpoint pain at the furthest part of the lats. Like try to really hurt right there. Yeah. So you're pushing this way and that way. You're pushing and squeezing just furthest part of the lat. Then you're going to know you're as wide as you can be because you're squeezing that outer, not just whole lats, it's just that outer one.
Sometime when I got some deep tissue massage, I was able to mentally get to a whole nother inch or so on my outer lats because it was all open up. Because sometimes the lats can be rolled this way, and someone that can manipulate that with their hands, sometimes that can help that also.
Yeah, I agree.
Let's take a look at the side triceps here, which was a very good shot. But I wanted to show the side triceps here. And, I was talking to Tyler, and I agree. If you see how Derek is turning a little bit the body, right? You know,
Yeah.
he's just turning a little bit. And I think Nick should do the same. On
Yeah.
this pose here, Derek is turning a little bit. The chest is coming out a little bit more. And now you can see that Nick has bigger legs, but you know, that this is one of those poses that Nick can win, but he needs to fix his posing.
Well, this one here, if he turned clockwise a little bit more, yes, but also hike that right hand out towards the crowd more, put it closer to that hip, and it's going to appear like that much bigger just by doing that.
Yeah. Here,
100%.
here he actually had the left shoulder a little bit more in. There was many times in many rotations that you didn't even keep that left shoulder that much in. And you see, you want to be wider at the top, smaller at the waist. So wider at the top, as Chris told you, arm out, and then that left shoulder create the width. Cover as much space behind you at the top.
Yeah.
And then you can actually squeeze that left back and get the striations there too. Your stomach was perfectly flat. I was impressed with that, but you lost kind of size value in side triceps for how much value you have in the side. That's what I think. I mean, Derek, you said the best side chest because he's so overpowering.
I don't think anybody beats him on the side chest, because not only his clavicle, because I think on the side chest, he turns his physique, right? Let me find it right here.
Yeah, this is just my opinion. Listen, I think he can look more powerful in the side triceps.
He can. I think he can. He knows
Milos,
that.
I'm not going to disagree with you. After what you did to the British guy on the last live, I'm not with you on anything.
Hey, I'm selling my ringtone. You can send me your name, and I can give you any line from a podcast.
Oh man, I don't know if I can say that, but like anytime somebody is gonna mess me up, I'm just gonna pull a Milos on him, and then you stupid mother lover, you know. But anyways, this is the side chest, right? And you know the pose is called side chest. When I look at this piece of muscle right here, this combination right here, this is just too much. This is too much. This is Nick Walker all day long. Look at this. That's a lot of beef. That's just a lot of beef.
Yeah.
Yep.
You have to give Derek credit. He improved the side chest.
He did.
Oh yeah,
And
yeah.
that's what we were saying. You might not be able to beat Nick Walker on the side chest. You know, it's going to be challenging, but you want to come as close as possible so he doesn't blow you out of the water. And that's what Derek did. Derek came close. He improved. He came full. He turned his physique. Did he beat him? No, he didn't, but he closed the gap, right? And I give him credit. Now, still, he's not beating Nick Walker on this pose. Chris, from all the guys that you've hit a side chest, is this one of the best in the history of bodybuilding?
Definitely one of the best. I mean, you got some past Mr. Olympias, Dorian Yates come to mind.
Lee Haney.
Lee Haney. The side chest wasn't like this. Lee Haney had crazy chest going on. You know, the way you pull back and the powerful muscles, like it looked like per square inch, it was a lot of muscle going on per square inch on his body that day. So I think, you know, that's something it's hard to deal with. So you can even get a little bit more out of it by stretching that pec a little bit more, that right pec, open that shoulder a little bit more, and I think it can even be even bigger.
Nick, did you feel full at the Pittsburgh show?
Yeah, I felt very full. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm just wondering. I mean, because sometimes, people don't feel it.
I have a question here. Matthew from Muscle Discord, another great friend of Bob Cicherillo. Nick said he wants to get 3 to 4 pounds heavier for the Olympia. I don't think that's a good idea. What do you think, Tarek? It depends where he adds those 3 to 4 pounds. Well,
Nothing's a good idea to that guy.
3 to 4 pounds, 3 to 4 pounds on that frame is really not that much, right? Milos, Chris, Nick, what do you guys think?
I think it's more or less he wants to improve, and that's probably just like a calculation he said, but I don't think that's the determining factor in which he wants to go into the show, make sure I'm 3 to 4 pounds. But I think if you improve some in the back, you improve some in the chest, even a little bit more the upper thighs or so that you can do. I think those things might average out to about, a couple of 2 to 3 more pounds, if so. But that's just how flat or how full you're trying to go for a show to get the looks you're trying to go for. But I like the I like the ratio of fullness to body fat to everything he utilized here in Pittsburgh.
This was the smallest his waist looked since I saw him
Ever.
first time.
Ever.
Did you do anything for your waist to get smaller, Nick?
Nah, not really. No. I mean, this, like I said, this was the lowest my carbs ever got to in a prep, so I'm sure that had to play somewhat of a role. But like, I didn't do anything specifically for it.
Yeah, I was saying this. Your legs improved, quads improved, but I heard you contribute this a lot to the leg press, and and I do think that leg press is more overall builder, but also goes to hamstring glutes, and like hack squats is more quad specific. God knows
Well,
you do.
I did leg days. I did 2 leg days a week, Monday and Friday, and one of them would do a lot of leg pressing, and the other one was a lot of like hack squats and stuff.
Legs improve dramatically. And listen, 3 4 pounds. If you put a little bit more on the lats, a little bit.
Yeah, well,
more.
that's what I'm saying. When I say 3 to 4, I would like that to go to my legs a little more. I like to see a little more back thickness and width on me, a little more upper chest shelf there. And I think if I was able to do that, I think that would just help me overall.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would suggest. Maybe you heard me say this, but here, if I can give you one advice for quads, try to create as much burn at whichever range, and when you recognize, okay, this is where it's burning and this is where it's hurting the most, then just stay there and try to intensify even more. If it's hack squat, Smith machine squat, doesn't matter, but your goal is to create like such an unbearable burn where you want that muscle. If it's lateralis or medialis, where you need to feel it, not just do reps, do heavy or do slow, but this hurts like a motherfucker. Okay,
Yeah.
stay there. Like be your enemy, not your friend, as far as squats.
Oh, I know. Oh, I know.
I think he got some.
That's why I won't do legs with you, Milos.
I'm always available.
Oh, Nick, I went to Torture Gym one time, and I saw you training.
Yeah, I remember.
You and ironically enough, you were training hamstrings,
Yeah.
and it was before the Olympia. But I saw you training, and you were very controlled, controlled in the movement. You were not doing anything crazy. So when you got injured, I was shocked. I was like, dude, I just saw him working out hamstrings at Torture Gym just a couple weeks ago, and he was training so controlled. The form was perfect. How did you get hurt? And did that change your mindset? Are you scared to get hurt again?
I honestly, I really don't even know how I got hurt. I actually was doing shoulders. I was doing Smith machine shoulder press, and I stood up, and I just felt like a twinge in my hamstring. And I mean, I didn't really think nothing of it. I feel like that shit happens all the time sometimes. And as the workout went on, it just became very unbearable, and the pain just became very, very severe. And by the next morning, it was already swollen and bruised. And I was like, great, this is wonderful.
What do you think happened, Milos, Chris?
Well, Yeah,
I don't know. I mean, freak accidents happen sometimes. I remember Vince Taylor tore his bicep. He was just about to go in guest pose, and he said he was doing concentration curls with a 20, and then his bicep just rolled up. I mean, you can be doing some housework, and a muscle can tear and just roll up on you. So
yeah,
anything can happen at any given time.
Yeah, it sucks.
Yeah.
Tarek, but that workout, I was there too. I think that Nick did the 4 plates, stiff leg deadlift perfectly in the middle of the gym.
Yeah.
Right? That's and super control and everything. Listen, like I said, Dennis James tear his biceps swiping his ass in the bathroom. Okay, so you never know.
Is that something that he wants the world to know?
He said it. He said it on the podcast. Yeah. So you never know. I mean, there's maybe some injury from before that just needed to do something. Nick, I kind of remember you said you were doing shoulders that day, but then you end up with the hanging leg raises, and then when you were
Yeah, and that was when I popped my calf too on the same day.
Okay, there you go. Yeah. So
One time I was just hanging, just stretching my lats, and it started to tear my tricep. It started to burn like someone had a match to my
Yeah.
tricep just from hanging on the damn, just the hanging stretching. So yeah, anything can happen at any given time.
My question to all of you guys, do these things become more frequent as you are in the final days of your prep, or it happens throughout the year?
yeah,
I
final
would
day.
say throughout. I would say throughout.
I was gonna say I would say throughout too.
Yeah,
I
but
wasn't in
more
contest shape.
chances. I think there are more chances when you're leaner and more dehydrated.
Oh yeah, it depends on if you're sprinting or something like that, pushing some kind of sled, that can injure you, especially when you're lean or
Yeah.
getting ready for a show.
Oh yeah.
This is it's not. I would just be careful with everything I do, man. Just like put bubble wrap around your whole body when you go into the store, and just like go through there with bubble wrap.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Well,
I don't even leave the house. I just Instacart everything, you know.
Instacart. There you go.
Nick Walker does not like to leave the house. Let me tell you.
When I'm in prep, I don't go nowhere.
All
Hey,
he
man.
does is stay in
So-
the house and watch Disney movies and work out.
Hey, I think a lot of sponsors, people want to sponsor you. Like you're the most, not only the most decorated, most sought after, and I think everybody fell in love with you in the loss to Derek. I mean, you must be getting some calls after that show, right?
No, bro. Everybody wants him. I mean, Taylor Swift wants him. Everybody wants Nick Walker now.
Swift.
That's what's up.
Oh, look at here. I'm here looking at his IG. Nick the Mutant Walker. Look at his sponsors. Celsius, Dark Sport,
That's good.
HD Muscle, Elevate Foods, Mega Fit Meals, New Tech Wellness, Wolfpack Official. He's got everybody.
there you go.
He's got everybody. I have companies from all over the world saying, Tarek, can you get Nick Walker? I said, I can't. I can't.
We
There's
need
nothing I
Huggies
can
wet
do.
wipes too.
Dude, I get
Try to get
companies
Huggies wet wipes.
from all over, and you can't get Nick Walker.
Okay, Nick, who do you see as your biggest competition at Olympia? You know everybody. You know that Hadi took a whole year off. You've seen Derek now. Samson.
I'm always gonna say Hadi.
Yeah.
I think me and Hadi are extremely comparable in every way, shape, or form. And I think if he comes in at 100 and I'm in at 100, it's going to be a battle.
How about Samson at his best and you?
Samson's a freak. He's very overpowering. He's very big, very round, very bubbly, very muscular. But I've also become a lot bigger and more muscular, and I also always outdo him in condition. So if he doesn't come in full condition, I will be Samson too.
And what do you think of Andrew?
I mean, Andrew's never really come close to me.
Okay.
Well
Um,
then,
well,
well,
And we can say whatever, but I beat Derek, so I'm not really worried about that.
a lot of people after the show, some people they went backstage to talk to you, and
Yeah.
including Chris Bumstead, Ian
yeah,
Javier, they all
not the time.
you were walking backstage, and all of them were scared of you. I was also scared of you. What was going on in your mind?
Here I am never a sore loser. If I know I lost, I accept it. I roll with it. I lost. This was probably, and since this was technically my comeback show, quote unquote, the way it just went and the way I just dominated and the way I feel like I just pretty much beat Derek in majority of all the poses, I just thought there's no way I'm losing tonight. I was more certain now than I was back in 2019 when I lost that I was going to win this show. So, excuse me. So when they called his name for first, I wasn't like, I didn't think there was anything more I could have done. I just felt like this sense of anger, this sense of like disappointment that I couldn't grasp.
Well, but there's a positive to it, right? Which you might not want to. He's like, "F that, Eric." He's like, "Positive my ass."
Yeah,
But
right.
Nick, after that show, you were one of the most. I can't remember a bodybuilder that was more popular than Nick Walker after a show. The whole world was on Nick Walker's side. I mean, it just like people, like a lot of the people that felt like you won the show, they were, absolutely in love with the fight that you put on. And, even Derek and Samson, after the show on Saturday, I saw both of them talking backstage, and they said, "No, dude, Nick is coming for the Olympia," right?
Yeah.
Did you get a sense that you got lots of love from people?
Oh yeah, that was listen, that was knowing I won the crowd back, knowing everybody knows I should have beat Derek. That kind of put me at a sense of relief too. When you lose, when everyone thinks you won, that's an incredible feeling. So I carried that over to New York. And I remember having a talk with Kyle, after I had a nice little pity party for myself. And I was like, look, man, we gotta come back even better for New York. I don't care who's in it. I don't care who's not in it. I want to dominate the whole damn thing. I want to go to New York, slam the door shut, and go home and get ready for the Olympia. And that's what I believe we did.
Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. Yeah, I mean, I remember, talking to you here and there, and like, I knew you wouldn't have any problem bouncing back. Uh, you might have some uncertainty, or even like feeling like, man, I don't even want to I want to shut it down or whatever. But I need to get this qualification. But can you say like some of your feeling like directly after that point, and the next 2 days after the show? That's a whole another mindset. If you're going to compete the next week.
Oh yeah, I straight up will tell you, I had no desire to compete. I was ready to shut it down. I ain't even gonna lie.
That's what
I was like, I'm done. You know,
thought.
we went. I remember after Pittsburgh, we went. I binged a little bit. We went to the Cheesecake Factory. I ate up. We went back to the Airbnb. We ate a lot of cookies, and I'm like, all right, I'm done with this. I need a break. I get up the next day. I check my weight. I didn't gain anything, so I'm like, oh, cool. I went and did cardio, cleared my head a little bit. And then Kyle texted me and was like, "How you feeling?" I said, "Nah, I feel about the same, brother." And he was like, well, when you get back to the Airbnb, let's talk." And I said, well, Kyle, I'm gonna be honest with you, there's not really much to discuss right now. And he's like, well, you know what we have to do. I'm like, yeah, Kyle, I know. It would be dumb not to do it. So we'll go do it and we're gonna dominate and win and call it a day. And he's like, all right, I'm just making sure you knew that.
Yeah.
And Chris and I, we your mom came to talk to us. We were having lunch. The first thing she did was, Tarek, I need an explanation. I said, I have a wife and children. Your dad was on my side, dude. He was like, your dad's like, it's not his fault. Let him eat the burger. And Chris was like looking at it, goes, yeah, it's Tarek's fault.
He's a judge. He's a judge. And but we had a great conversation, and I love your mom because even though she was hurt, she wanted you to win real bad, but her mind was really in the right place. She goes, oh man,
I know he's pissed off, I know he's angry, but he needs to go do New York. He can win it for the third time. I'm gonna let him have his space, and then he's gonna do New York and this and that. And I was so, I felt so good because she's not only a mom, but she's very much aware of what bodybuilding is. She's very much aware of the great victories and the pains that come with it, and she's not like one of those moms that are emotional, right? She knows, hey, angry right now, but she was reasonable. She was like, the best thing to do is to go to New York and get his qualification.
Well, yeah.
So I give her a lot of credit. I like you, but I might like your mom even better than you.
Please don't tell her that.
Yeah.
She's probably watching.
Yes.
I was gonna say she's probably watching. Who am I? She's probably in the other room right now watching.
No, she was hella cool, man. I was just really impressed the most about her knowledge about, like Terry said, like what's her awareness about the sport and what this looks like or that looks like or this pose or that pose. She was amazing, man. I was really impressed, bro. Seriously.
Well, you guys got to remember, she's been involved with this since I started. She's the one that takes all my pictures in the morning. You're eventually going to get an understanding and catch an eye for a lot of things when you're taking pictures of someone every morning.
Right.
Yeah.
She said that too.
Yeah.
Your dad was hella funny. He don't believe in the Leo thing. He's like, I don't believe in that bullshit.
Yeah.
Leo's.
Carry on with
Your
that shit all the
your
time.
dad was like on my side. He goes, Tarek, this Leo thing is all bullshit.
Nah, man.
We're not gonna win the show because you're Leo.
I beg to differ.
Leo's always come out on top, bro.
Always.
Come on. These guys are outrageous.
Always.
Yeah, but
Even when Leo's lose, we still win.
Oh, he's still winning.
We can't lose.
Derek, I'm going to bring something up like this, okay? Even though Chris Cormier came to the point like 99, Chris, 99, you were training to win the Olympia. You felt this in you. 2000, you felt like you can win.
Yeah.
I competed for so many years, and I can say whatever. Oh, yeah, I believe I could win. I knew I cannot win. I knew I have you and Sean and Flex and Kevin and Nasser. But Nick, this is your time, and you're in position. You can actually be number one. So it's different when somebody is just training. Okay, I'm doing my all. I want to be the best, that I can be. And it's different when I can win this shit and be the best in the world. It's a different level. So you are there. And I know that you're making every day count. But still, you want to overtake on Hadi, 2022 Olympia, 2023 Derek, 2024 Samson, right? You're right there. So I do hope that your fire start burning already today. It's not like, okay, I need a little bit break and that. But you know what I mean?
Nah, I'd say, me, Milos. We got 20 weeks until the Olympia, and I'm going to do whatever I have to do to make sure I'm the last man standing.
There you go.
Yeah, because I knew that that mindset, because I remember losing the Arnold Classic to Dexter, and I was like, I'm not going to San Francisco after this. I'm gonna just stop.
See,
I didn't eat
it's a
nothing.
Leo thing. You know, we throw a
Yeah.
pity party for an hour or
2 days
two, and then
later,
we bounce back. We're over it.
48 hours later, I looked
Yeah.
up. I said,
You're like, fuck this, I'm
yeah.
going.
I went to the gym. I was like, damn, I look pretty fucking good.
Exactly.
I'm gonna get my ticket to the here we go. And then I beat everybody at the San Francisco. My second San Francisco win.
You don't want to piss off a Leo, that's for sure.
Hell no.
Nick,
Hell no.
you have literally millions and millions of fans that absolutely love you. They love who you are. You're controversial. You speak your mind. You go on stage. You know, I don't know if it's legal or not, him chewing the gum.
I didn't.
But listen, that looked, that looked very.
I promise I had no gum in my mouth.
What were you chewing? Your tongue?
Yeah, I was just going like this.
But I gotta be honest, it looked cool. It looked like
It looked a little badass, right? Like, yeah. We're over here, fuck these motherfuckers. You know what I mean?
I was looking at his face, going like, "What is this guy gonna do? Eat somebody's head on stage now?" And if he's not chewing gum, I guess he can do that all the time. But you're very popular. People love you. They just love who you are. You know, what is your message to all these people that absolutely love you?
I guess I want to say thank you to everyone that, you know, is a fan of mine. And I always want to be, you know, an ambassador for the sport that just lets people know that even through adversity, you can come out on top. You just have to be willing to keep believing in yourself and block out the outside noise, and anything's possible.
Very well said. Ladies and gentlemen, I remember Nick Walker when he was an amateur and he was at the USA's, and it was the super heavies. It was time for the super heavies to do the check-ins. Yeah. And I said, guys, if you want to take off your shirt, go ahead and take off your shirt. And only one guy took off his shirt, and it was Nick Walker. And all the heavyweights that were there left the room so fast. You know, and I knew then that we had a different personality to the sport. I love Nick Walker. I think every 10, 15 years, we need to have a bodybuilder like Nick Walker, who's unconventional, who speaks his mind, is good for the sport. I remember having dinner with Jake Wood, Olympia owner, on Tuesday night before the Olympia. And we were talking about the competitors, and I said, Jake, when Nick Walker hits the stage, the house is going to go down. And on that morning, we heard that Nick Walker had been injured, right? And there was such a somber feeling at the hotel. Not only the fans, but even other competitors that were supposed to beat him on stage. Everybody was sad that Nick Walker was not there. But this coming October at Resorts World, Nick Walker will be announced and he will step on stage. And when that moment comes, it will be a very unique moment for every bodybuilding fan in the world, because one thing is for sure, the mutant is back. Nick, thank you for spending time with us.
Of course. Thank you for having me.
Milos.
Good, man.
Milos, I don't want to get in trouble with you. I love you. And I will see you in Phoenix. Chris, it's good to see you. I haven't seen you in a while. Come by my house. Let's do some barbecue this week. For all of you guys that send me messages thinking that I hate Chris is one of my best friends in the industry, okay? Well, you know, people are like, we're going to sock you, Tarek, if you keep picking on Chris. It's like, what? Chris is one of my best friends in the industry, jackass. I will see you guys in Las Vegas, Nevada. This is the Mr. Olympia. Nick Walker will be there.
Give
Take
us one of
care.
these,
Bye-bye.
Nick.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the main event of the year. The most prestigious night in the world of bodybuilding.